Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to News Dose. So 2024 has gotten off to a pretty good start with games like Prince of Persia. We're getting Tekken 8, and then also Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. It has gotten off to an absolutely fantastic start for the year. But of course, we also can't forget about the surprise internet sensation, Palworld. This is a game developed by a small independent team, and I think it kind of shows the importance of independent games, regardless about your current feelings about this game. I know there's a lot of controversy tied with it, but independent games can really take the industry by surprise if only they get noticed. But that is often the problem, not getting that attention. And, well, Xbox is trying to fix that problem with a new initiative that they just launched, and we're going to talk about that today. Also, PlayStation's PC effort is ramping up with supposedly various ports on the way. You can almost kind of say that it's the whole slate, so do make sure to stay tuned for that as well. But let's just go and jump right at things, starting off with a possible new PlayStation State of Play. As I've said before, historically, PlayStation really likes that February month for their PlayStation State of Plays, and the evidence is starting to stack up that 2024 is going to be no different. This is because D-Labs and Bilbo-kun revealed the subtitle of Death Stranding 2, which is On the Beach. If you played the first game, you might understand that reference, but where this gets really interesting is with its announcement date. The article goes on to say that this is one of the things that we are 100% sure of. A second announcement regarding the game is imminent. Although we have not been able to determine the date of this announcement, we estimate that it will occur within the next 15 days. Furthermore, if we go back a few months before, Hideo Kojima's personal assistant had published a photo on X/Twitter of the latter editing a video. But the most interesting thing is that we can read very approximately the title of the video he is editing, and which would look like State of Play XXXX Trailer DS2. So it does sound like this announcement will happen at a PlayStation State of Play, likely within the next 15 days. So if Bilbo-kun is correct, which he's often been in the past, well, now we're just kind of waiting for Sony to make some kind of an announcement confirming this information, and when and if they do, this could end up being their way of setting expectations for 2024. There's been a lot of discussion about their lineup this year, but a State of Play could maybe go a long way in answering some of those questions. I mean, we still have a release date for Silent Hill 2 Remake, Stellar Blade, and Concord. All of these games are exclusive PlayStation titles that are planned for 2024. Destiny 2 also has some planned DLC for this year. That's something that they could show. And then Sony, they also recently leaked that Metal Gear Solid Delta is planned for 2024. So there's a lot of potential announcements that they could make at a PlayStation State of Play, including, yes, a second reveal for Death Stranding 2 that could maybe give us a little bit more of an idea as to what this game actually is, and, you know, also maybe a release window. Either which way, it does sound like Sony is cooking something up relatively soon, so for you PlayStation fans out there, it sounds like February could be a lot of fun. Now let's go talk about Palworld, because its milestones continues to rack up. It is absolutely insane what this game has achieved so far. It's now surpassed 2 million concurrent players on Steam, making it the second highest peak of all time on the platform, and it's now officially surpassed 7 million copies sold. Here's the thing though, if you thought 7 million was impressive, which it is, but those sales numbers actually only include Steam. Jeff Keighley confirmed that with Pocket Pair, which actually makes this even crazier than what it already was. We do know for a fact that Palworld is also performing very well on Xbox, because it was revealed by Circana that Palworld surpassed Fortnite, and on average, Xbox users in the United States are playing it for more than 200 minutes. So that's very impressive stuff, and we also know that Palworld is the most popular PC Game Pass game. And the reason all this information is just so important is because it shows you that Palworld is successful everywhere. It's not just popular on Steam alone, and that means that some of the numbers that we've seen is kind of lowballing it. It's not even telling the full story and how successful this game actually is. I mean, that's crazy to think about, but Palworld really is a phenomenon right now. I mean, honestly, if I was Xbox, because technically it is an Xbox console exclusive for the time being, probably not forever, but if I were them, I'd be advertising this all over the place. Get bundles out in the wild, put it on your homepage, just do whatever you can to let fans know that you can play it on their consoles. They have a very real opportunity here, but either way, I think the future for this game is going to be quite interesting to pay attention to. see how much staying power it has, see how it evolves over time. And of course, we also have the controversy in whether or not Nintendo will actually seek legal action. Some people believe they will, but so far they haven't, which either means that they're either unsure if they have a case or maybe they're trying to build one. For now, all they've done is they shut down a Pokemon Palworld mod. They weren't too happy about that. But, for the time being, gamers, they seem to be enjoying Palworld as it has a 93% approval rate on Steam. That's pretty incredible. And with its success, Pocket Pair, they have a whole lot more resources to make this a special game in the long run if they want to. Not very many early access games gets this type of opportunity to improve their games like this. And actually about that, they did actually reveal its roadmap today. You can see here that they plan to address some critical bugs that's been identified. They're also looking to improve PAL AI and pathing. And then the real meat and potatoes of this update, which includes future plans. They do have PvP in the works, raid bosses for in-game content. They have a PAL arena planned, Steam Xbox crossplay, that's been a big request. There's also various Xbox feature improvements, server transfers and migrations, improvements to the building system, which I think is sorely needed. And they also have new islands, new pals, new bosses, and new technologies in development. So they have a lot of extra content planned. This really is just the beginning for Palworld. And I mean, considering it has a 93% approval rate on Steam, all these new additions are just going to make fans that much happier. Speaking of Xbox, though, not only do they have a big opportunity with Palworld and their partnership together, but Xbox is really extending that hand to other independent games as well. As I said in the opening, that is often the problem that smaller teams end up having, getting their games noticed. Every single year, there are certain independent games that goes under the radar because they just don't have the same budget that a big AAA studio might have. So what Xbox is trying to do is they're trying to address this issue by launching an Indie Select program. This was written up by Windows Central. I thought they explained it well, and you can see here they said, starting immediately, ID at Xbox's new Indie Selects program will launch dedicated channels in the games section of the Xbox dashboard and Xbox Store. These channels will feature themed collections of Xbox indie games selected by the ID at Xbox team. For example, the Featured Indies channel will showcase recent releases that the ID at Xbox team can wholeheartedly recommend and are not included in Xbox Game Pass, which gets its own featured collections. Now, it sounds like they're really going to have some fun with this program. They mentioned the themed collections here, but some other things that they're going to try to do is they might showcase games that are in a specific part of the world. Maybe they'll showcase Japanese independent games. They might do a single genre like a bunch of Metroidvanias, or maybe even upcoming independent games that just look exciting. The whole goal for them is to highlight these games and give them more visibility on the Xbox Store. That way consumers are actually aware of said games. Now, personally, I love this idea. I can't imagine anybody not, because truthfully, some of the best games out there are independent games, and I like that Xbox is showcasing that. Like, you can tell that Xbox puts a lot of effort to showcase that in Xbox Game Pass. I feel like they've done a very good job at that because, every single month there's new interesting day one titles. They can easily highlight those games. Tomorrow, in fact, Go Mecha Ball releases, which I think actually looks interesting. It's a roguelike that combines pinball elements, and it just seems like a fun idea. If you're not a Game Pass subscriber, though, and if you don't get the news from them, or you don't see it in the upcoming Game Pass games, there's a good chance that you've never heard of this game, and that's oftentimes a real shame. Hopefully, with this new Indie Select program, though, that will soon change. Hopefully, everybody on Xbox will start to see these games, and maybe these independent studios will have a better opportunity to succeed. If anything else, I'm sure these independent developers will absolutely love this initiative. It does give them a better opportunity, and we'll see how it works out. Again, though, apparently this program does start immediately, so keep an eye out. All right, one last thing I want to talk about is PlayStation's effort to port their games over to PC. This has been something that they've been doing for a while, and it's kind of been a slow rollout up to this point, but it sounds like that could possibly start to ramp up here in the near future. This is again coming from D Labs, who revealed that the PS4 survival horror exclusive Until Dawn is planned to get a remaster for the PlayStation 5, and more importantly, is set to release for PC. Now, this wasn't necessarily a massive seller, but it was a highly praised title when it initially released, and while it already runs as 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 through backwards compatibility, The more interesting part to this story is the PC inclusion. This is Sony once again tapping into their PlayStation 4 back catalog for PC ports, and according to D-Labs, several other PlayStation exclusives are being prepared for an upcoming arrival on PC. Now, they did, however, note that they don't know which games are coming. There's been some rumors that Ghost of Tsushima and Demon's Souls could be a part of that list, but they can't confirm that themselves. I will say, though, that both of those games do make a lot of sense. Demon's Souls did appear on the NVIDIA GeForce leak years ago, and Ghost of Tsushima, I mean, that is one of their more popular modern franchises. Both these games could perform very well on PC. I mean, for that matter, the Soulsborne series always does well on Steam, so I think Demon's Souls would be a real winner for Sony. Going back to Until Dawn, though, this almost seems like a strategy for Sony right now. They're starting to remaster their PlayStation 4 games, and that could include a PC port as well. So I started to think about that and other potential games that they could do that with. And I mean, you know, they have a treasure trove of games on the PlayStation 4. They have Bloodborne, which sorely needs a 60 frames per second update. Could this finally be the time for that? I mean, I'm crossing my fingers for that. Let's hope so. There's also Gravity Rush 2, which needs more attention. That's a great game, and a PC version would be very welcome. Naughty Dog also has a couple PlayStation 4 collections that could move over to PC, including Uncharted and the Jak and Daxter collection. That would be pretty amazing. And the list just kind of goes on and on and on. There's Shadow of Colossus, you have The Last Guardian, Infamous, Ratchet & Clank, there's Killzone, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of games for them to choose from, and that's kind of the thing about all of this. Again, Until Dawn was not a massive seller for PlayStation, so if that game is worthy of the remaster treatment and a PC port, it really kind of sounds like everything is on the table right now. It's just a matter of how long it takes them to port all of these games, but from the sounds of it, we will hear about various PlayStation PC ports in the near future. Let me know which ones are on your wish list, though. For me, I'd say Bloodborne, Uncharted, and Gravity Rush 2 tops the list. Gravity Rush 2, I think that actually sounds like a very fun Steam Deck game, and again, I would like to see that game get more recognition. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode. Palworld continues to roll. Xbox has a big opportunity, and, well, sounds like PlayStation has big plans for PC going forward. But until next time, peace out.